All right, so breaking news coming out today, January the 3rd, 2025. You can see the headline at the bottom of the screen, Trump sentenced before inauguration. We're hearing that a New York judge has denied the Trump case dismissal and now is going to be sentencing Donald Trump before inauguration date. Now, we're hearing that there is not going to be any incarceration, but still you can see the clip here where Trump is saying that this is rigged. And let me see if I can actually find the clip for you so that way you can see it. Of him saying this, but you can see the headlines coming out. A judge has denied Trump's motion to dismiss his hush money case due to election victory. He will be sentenced January 10th. So January 10th, we're going to be seeing this take place. And now here's a clip coming out from Fox Breaking News. Let's go ahead and take a look at this so that way you can see it for yourself.
So we have another day of court in a freezing courthouse. It's very cold in there for one purpose, I believe. They don't seem to be able to get the temperature up. It shouldn't be that complicated, but we have a freezing courthouse, and that's fine. That's just fine. Let them keep handing it out. There's a rigged trial. So we have another day of court in a freezing courthouse. It's very cold in there for one purpose, I believe. They don't seem to be able to get the temperature up. It shouldn't be that complicated, but we have a freezing courthouse, and that's fine. That's just fine. Let them keep handing it out. There's a rigged trial. So we have
So there you have it, you guys. So you said it's a rigged trial. He's going to be sentenced. And take a look at the headlines with me here coming out. It says, New York judge sets Trump sentencing before inauguration day. The judge said that he is not inclined to impose a sentence of incarceration. So they're saying that he's not going to be doing any jail time, but they will be sentencing him. And this will be taking place January 10th before inauguration day. So huge news coming out on this. Now, in addition to that, I wanted to give you other political breaking news that's coming out today as we are hearing. Take a look at the live updates with me. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson's dramatic vote to remain the House Speaker. He is going to remain the Speaker of the House. I'm going to share with you the video footage. It was close. It was close, and that there was changes of votes at the last second. Wait till you see the video footage. I'm going to be playing for you. Now, in addition to that, I also wanted to share something. I wanted to say thank you to a viewer by the name of Mike Coates in Texas. Mike, let me know if you're watching. Comment if you are. Mike sent me something that he made, and it is, take a look at this. He sent me a Trump piggy bank. This is a bust of Donald Trump that he made with a 3D printer, and this is so cool. This made my day, and you can see that there's the slot here for the piggy bank. And he just said, "I just appreciate your content so much. I wanted to send this to you." So thank you, Mike, for sending this to me. And he sent me this letter too with his appreciation, and he said he's also going to be adding to his shop. He sells these on Etsy. It's at Beach Vibes by Coat, COTE. And I'll go ahead and put a link for you guys if anybody's interested in purchasing these from one of these. Now, he didn't really ask me to do this. I just was so impressed, and I just thought this was so cool that I would go ahead and share this with you. So if you guys want, I'll go ahead and pin that if you're interested. He's also adding to his repertoire here, or his collection, one of the ones where when Trump was shot in the ear. There's a picture. Let me see if I can share this with you guys, if you can see it there. I don't think it's really going to be in focus, but I just want to say thank you, Mike. That is like super cool, and it is really good. I got a good laugh out of this. I think this is awesome, and we're going to be using this, and I appreciate it. And if anybody else is interested, I'm going to go ahead and actually let me put his shop on the screen for anybody that might be interested, so that way you can see it here. Here we go. Beach Vibes by Coat. 3D printing, custom, mostly patriotic and beach themed. And there you can see him selling these piggy banks. And that's one of the ones that he just sent to me right now. And it is pretty cool. And he's going to add a new one as well. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and I'll pin it in the comments as a thank you to Mike right there. And we'll hit that, and we'll pin it. Pin that message. So if anybody is interested in getting a Donald Trump piggy bank, hit up Mike. He is also local here to Texas. I think he said he's in Houston as well. So super cool. Appreciate that a ton. Maybe I'll try to see if I can get it in the background somewhere. We can get the bust of Trump. And if you are glad to hear that even though he's being sentenced, there's not going to be incarceration. And if you support Donald Trump coming in and you're thankful that he is going to be the new president of the United States, drop a 47 in the comments with me as I get you caught up on the latest breaking news coming out. And also, in addition to that, hit that like button if you appreciate the updates. Helps spread this out further. Subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? And let me get you caught up on the latest with what's going on here. So I'm going to be sharing with you the video footage of Donald Trump, we're hearing, who is going to be sentenced January 10th. And in addition to that, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson will remain the Speaker of the House. So let's go ahead and get you caught up on the latest so that way you can see everything that's going on. Let's take a look at the breaking political news coming out so you can stay up to speed on everything. Let's go ahead here and take a look.
All right, breaking right now, the judge rejecting President-elect Trump's bid to throw out his criminal conviction in New York because of his election win and ordering to show up for a sentencing a week from today, either in person or virtually. That's all according to Reuters. Prosecutors had suggested putting the case on hold until Trump leaves office, but now he's facing sentencing before Inauguration Day. Constitutional attorney and Fox News contributor Jonathan Turley is going to be standing by on the phone for us in just a moment, but we have Clay Travis, I believe, with us still here. Clay, your reaction, this is just an incredible hour to go from, a win for the president-elect with the speakership and now sentencing before inauguration?
Yeah, this is crazy. I will say the fact, as you just hit it, I've got the order in front of me right now, to allow him to appear virtually suggests to me that there is not going to be a substantial punishment coming from Judge Merchan. Now, I could be wrong, but if you're virtually sentencing someone, you're not taking them into custody or trying to do something in a significant way there. So that's my biggest takeaway reading the order.
All right, Clay Travis, thank you very much. We want to bring in constitutional attorney and Fox News contributor Jonathan Turley now by phone. Jonathan, break this down for us. What does this mean? What are we likely to see play out?
Well, that's a very good question. This is a judge that has kept people really guessing for a very long time. I described this once as the longest performance of Hamlet in history. We really could not figure out what the Merchan was going to do. He's now decided to sentence a president shortly before he is sworn in. Now, one of the things that I've said in the past is that many of the complications that we've been talking about and potential conflicts with the constitutional standards only arise if you impose a sentence that would hold him physically or demand his appearance, things like home confinement or actual sentence to jail. This would be a case where you would not even normally see a sentence for incarceration. So I've always doubted that that would be coming out of this case. So the court may be looking at this and saying, I'm not going to trigger any constitutional problems because I'm going to hand down a sentence that's not going to bind him in any way or interfere with his carrying out his duties. The one thing that I have to say, if you put a positive spin on this, is the worst option is the one suggested by Bragg, that you should just suspend the sentence and keep the president as pending sentencing for 4 years. That was a perfectly horrific idea that's being pushed by many. And I think that
Jonathan,
many people on the
we've got less than 30 seconds left in the show, but I want to ask you, what do you expect the Trump team to do in response to this? Can they appeal it? What happens next?
I don't think they're going to have a lot of luck appealing this. I think the appellate court's going to want to see what he rules. Because if he comes down with a sentence that doesn't bind the president, then a lot of the constitutional problems fade away.
So you expect that we will see the sentencing go through, we will see a sentence?
Yeah, they may well appeal this, but the odds are always in favor of trial judges in these holding these hearings. The appellate courts like to see sentences finalized that they can review the case and the sentence.
Jonathan Turley, thank you so much. That is the story.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey,
wow, there you have it, you guys. So we're hearing that the sentencing is going to be taking place, which is very odd because, like, a lot of people said they thought it was, there was not going to be an issue here, that there was not going to be any sentencing and things like that. And then now we're hearing, no, that is not the case, that he is going to be sentenced. The New York judge has decided to sentence him, and he will be sentencing him on January 10th prior to the inauguration, but we have heard that there will not be an incarceration on this. As you can see now, this coming out, you can see 4:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So roughly in the last 2 hours, we've received this breaking news regarding Donald Trump and the sentencing taking place. And as you saw, I just shared with you just a moment ago earlier, video footage of Donald Trump coming out and saying, hey, this is rigged. This is ridiculous. And if you agree and you feel like this is absolutely absurd, drop those 47s for Donald Trump. And even though I know this is not the news that a lot of people wanted to hear, hit the like button. And honestly, I feel like, they're going to hit him with some sort of sentencing, but they're not going to incarcerate him. That's the good news. We're going to be able to see him still be the president, and hopefully this will not interrupt anything. But I know we've heard a lot of people say this before Inauguration Day. We're going to be seeing what can be pulled out here to try to disrupt things. So let me go ahead and share with you, though, what is coming out in this article. I see those 47s pouring in, and don't forget to smash that like button as well if you appreciate the updates. Now, this article says, President-elect Trump's bid to toss his conviction in his New York criminal hush money case was denied on Friday today, and this coming out, like I said, about 2 hours ago. New York Judge Juan Merchant rejected Trump's request to vacate the verdict in the case based on the Supreme Court's presidential immunity decision. Sentencing set for January 10th at 9:30 a.m., with the president-elect having the option to appear in person or virtually. But Merchant said that he will not sentence the president-elect to prison time. Merchant wrote in his decision that he is not likely to impose any sentence of incarceration, but rather a sentence of unconditional discharge, which means there would be no punishment imposed. Now, Trump will be sworn in as the 47th president of the United States on January 20th. Now, Merchant noted that he is still reviewing the other motions filed by Trump to dismiss the case. He also rejected the DA's suggestion that he preserve the verdict but end proceedings, as it would deny Trump the right to a path to appeal. Today's order by the deeply conflicted Acting Justice Merchant in the Manhattan DA witch hunt is a direct violation of the Supreme Court's immunity decision and other outstanding jurisprudence. Trump spokesperson and incoming White House Communications Director Stephen Chung told Fox News Digital, "This lawless case should have never been brought, and the Constitution demands that it be immediately dismissed. President Trump must be allowed to continue the presidential transition process and to execute the vital duties of the presidency unobstructed by the remains of this or any remnants of this witch hunt." And again, if you agree, drop that 47 in the comments. Now, Chung added, there should be no sentencing, and President Trump will continue fighting against these hoaxes until they are all dead. Last month, Merchant also denied Trump's attorney's request to dismiss the charges on the basis of presidential immunity. The ruling comes after President-elect Trump and his team in July requested Merchant overturn his guilty verdict in New York versus Trump, citing the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling that the presidents have immunity for official acts. Now, Merchant ruled that the evidence presented in the trial was related entirely to unofficial conduct and thus received no immunity protections. Trump pleaded not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first degree, stemming from the years-long investigation related to alleged hush money payments run by the Manhattan District's Attorney Office. Former Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance initiated the investigations, and Bragg prosecuted Trump. Now, after an unprecedented 6-week trial in New York City, a jury found the president guilty on all counts. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled that a former president has substantial immunity for official acts committed while in office. Now, in the formal motion in July, Trump attorney Todd Blanche pointed to the Supreme Court's immunity decision and argued that certain evidence of official acts should not have been admitted during the trial. Now, Trump's attorneys last month officially requested to immediately dismiss charges against the president-elect in New York versus Trump, declaring the failed lawfare case should never have been brought. Trump's attorneys said the case would never have been brought were it not for President Trump's political views, the transformative national movement established under his leadership, and the political threat that he poses to entrenched corrupt politicians in Washington, D.C. and beyond. Trump lawyers said that wrongly continuing proceedings in this failed lawfare case disrupts President Trump's transition efforts and his preparations to wield the full Article 2 executive power authorized by the Constitution pursuant to the overwhelming national mandate granted to him by the American people on November 5th of 2024. Bragg, in November, requested to Judge Juan Merchant that the case be stayed until the end of Trump's second term. But Trump's attorneys noted that the Office of Legal Counsel in the Justice Department concluded that the categorical prohibition on the federal indictment of a sitting president, even if the case were held in abeyance, applies to this situation. They added that Bragg's ridiculous suggestion that they could simply resume proceedings after President Trump leaves office, more than a decade after they commenced their investigation in 2018, is not an option. So, wow, there you have it, you guys. So we are hearing that he is going to be sentenced on January 10th. We're going to be seeing what unfolds here with Donald Trump. And like I said, I will keep you guys up to date. And a lot of people saying they are just trying everything they can to try to throw Trump off as he is doing the transition of power. Yet at the same time, we are hearing, no, he is not going to be incarcerated, but they're saying this is a disruption. So I will continue to keep you guys up to date on that. Now, in addition to that, if you missed the breaking news coming out earlier today as well, we are hearing that Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, he will remain the Speaker of the House. Take a look, you guys. Johnson wins a dramatic vote to remain the House Speaker. And you can see here an hour and 30 minutes ago, Norman says his mind was changed after talking with Trump and Johnson. So this was huge. It was close. All the Democrats unified for Hakeem Jeffries. And then we saw all the Republicans on board with the exception of 3 going for Mike Johnson. And man, it was looking pretty close. Now, rather than go through these breaking news headlines, let me just share with you the video footage so that way you can see it for yourself. Let's go ahead and take a look at this.
Let me interrupt real quick here, Byron. Congressman-elect Norman and Self are now in the front of the chamber. If they change their votes to Johnson, see if we can listen.
House will be in order.
Mr. Norman Johnson. Mr. Self. Mr. Self is recorded as Donalds. Mr. Self, Johnson.
With that, the majority is reached at 218, and once this is gavelled closed, Sandra, we will have a new Speaker of the House for the 119th Congress, and Mike Johnson from Louisiana. Took a little bit to get there, but you see the celebrations on the House floor.
Well, we had the lawmaker on just a few moments ago who said he had just chatted with 2 lawmakers that were among those who voted for someone other than Johnson. Said he was optimistic. Sounds like he had a pretty good conversation because this is obviously the outcome of that. And there is probably a pretty elated Speaker-elect Johnson walking back up the aisle there, Brett.
Let's listen in. We'll get a gavel here as he's shaking hands with all the folks. We don't know what the conversation was with Ralph Norman or Keith Self. That's Nancy Mace giving him a hug on the floor there. Let's listen into the floor. That's Claudia Tenney from New York with the hug there, and everybody giving congratulations, Sandra. And I'm sure there'll be a phone call soon from President-elect Trump, who is working hard to make this happen on a first ballot.
Joining us now, Molly Hemingway. We have been talking throughout, watching this happen, and this is how this goes. Pretty historic moment as we saw the two lawmakers approach the front there and change their votes to Johnson. Your thoughts, Molly?
Well, it ended up being kind of a thrilling moment there to see these two guys go down and change their votes. But it was a messy process. It was managed on the first vote, but it was messy getting there. But that's really, again, what democracy is like. I think a lot of Americans would like to see far more debate in the House than they've been seeing in recent decades about the issues that are confronting America. And this, might be the prologue of some interesting debates as we have new and fresh ideas about how to improve our state of government. But I think Mike Johnson probably understands, too, that he needs to improve over, not that he hasn't done a completely capable job in the last year, but that he needs to improve over what he's done and start getting more deliverables for Republican members and their voters. And that'll be much easier for him now that the Senate is going to be under Republican control and the White House as well.
Byron York, you were interrupted before. Thoughts about this as we move forward and the Trump agenda and what happens now as the certification of the election happens January 6th?
I think this was the Donald Trump effect because he's the president-elect. He is wildly popular in the Republican Party, and any Republican member of the House who's standing up against what Trump wants has to answer for that.
Of the state of Louisiana
Let's listen in.
Received 218.
Well, that makes it official, right, Brett? We knew the tally, the new unofficial tally, had become 218, 215, 1, showing Johnson should have the votes. It wasn't official till the clerk read it, and it has. Let's listen again.
Jeffries of the state of New York has received 215. And the Honorable Tom Emmer of the state of Minnesota has received 1. Therefore, the Honorable Mike Johnson of the state of Louisiana, having received a majority of the votes cast, is duly elected Speaker of the House of Representatives for the 119th Congress. The clerk appoints the following committee to escort the Speaker-elect to the chair. The gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Scalise. The gentleman from New York, Mr. Jeffries. The gentleman from Minnesota, Mr. Emmer. The gentlewoman from Massachusetts, Ms. Clark. The gentlewoman from Michigan, Mrs. McClain. The gentleman from California, Mr. Aguilar. The gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. Hudson. The gentleman from California, Mr. Liu. The gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Hearn. The gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Neguse. The gentleman from Utah, Mr. Moore. The gentlewoman from Washington, Ms. Delbene. The gentlewoman from Indiana, Mrs. Houchin. The gentleman from New York, Mr. Morelli. The gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Reschenthaler. The gentlewoman from Michigan, Mrs. Dingle. And the members of the Louisiana delegation, Mr. Higgins, Ms. Letlow, Mr. Carter, and Mr. Fields. The committee will retire from the chamber to escort the Speaker-elect to the chair.
There you have it, you guys. So Speaker of the House Mike Johnson is going to continue to be the Speaker of the House. Now this comes, as I mentioned to you, that we have received word as well that Donald Trump is going to be sentenced before his inauguration, but he avoids any prison. As I shared with you that this was trending right now, a New York judge has upheld Donald Trump's felony conviction in the hush money case, scheduling his sentencing for January 10th of 2025, 10 days before the inauguration. Despite this, Judge Juan Merchant, he has indicated that Trump will not serve prison time for this offense, reflecting on similar past cases and current legal practices. This event coincides with Trump's presidency-elect status, adding a layer of political significance to the legal proceedings. And this is coming out all over the headlines. This is spreading all across the social media platforms. The updates that right now he is now going to be sentenced. And this shocking a lot of people today, coming out in just the past 2 hours. It is now making headlines everywhere. And this alongside of, as what you just watched, is that Mike Johnson will continue to be Speaker of the House. We just saw the video footage on that. And what we've heard too is that this was a concern as well, that there were those that had said that the handling of the budget was a major concern for a lot of people. They did not like the fact that Speaker of the House Mike Johnson was trying to push through that giant budget bill that I can't remember how many pages it was. It was a huge stack of paper. And they said, shut it down. Hashtag shut it down was trending because he was trying to push it through, and people denied the votes, did not let it go through. They revised it, got the budget passed, but then after that, a lot of people said that they were starting to have their doubts on Mike Johnson. But the concern was that if they did not elect him as Speaker of the House, that could delay the transition of power because legislation cannot be passed and the inauguration cannot be done. All of these things cannot happen unless Congress has a Speaker of the House. So there was major concerns, and you saw there were 3 Republican holdouts that were still waiting, not sure if they were going to vote for Mike Johnson. And then at the last minute, they changed those votes so that way he could get the majority vote, and he is now going to be the Speaker of the House. That will no longer delay the transition of power from Joe Biden to Donald Trump. So big political breaking news coming out today, January the 3rd, 2025. And this coming as also, we are still reeling from all of the hits on U.S. soil that have unfolded on January 1st. And I shared with you earlier today, if you missed it, that there was explosive devices discovered on a train in Idaho on January 1st as well. They were able to, local police were able to intervene before anything was able to be detonated. So one disaster diverted. However, we still had the issues with New Orleans, Las Vegas. There was stuff that was going on in Houston. And then also they seized the largest quantity ever of explosive devices in a home in Virginia as well. 150 explosive devices were seized in Virginia as well. So a lot going on, a lot of concerns. And also we had yesterday the concerns of that lockdown in the Capitol. So a lot taking place right now. I'll continue to keep you up to date. We're hearing that there is more information that is starting to unfold regarding the Las Vegas Cybertruck explosion that unfolded. And I believe that there is right now trending some sort of email that has come out on somebody, I think it's like Sean Ryan's podcast or something like that. Correct me if that's not the right name. I'm not sure. But they said that there's somebody that received an email. Right now, I saw the news report come out on it. The local authorities have addressed it, and they said, listen, we're only going to report to you what we know for a fact that has been confirmed. And so they said, we're well aware of what's spreading around social media, but we are not going to discuss that because it is at this point speculation. I know a lot of people saw that. Now I'm going to go ahead and do some research on it. I'll go ahead and review what is coming out with that email. And they are tying this. They're saying that what happened with Las Vegas, they're saying might tie to the New Jersey drones. That's right. And there is a lot of speculation as to what is going on with that. So let me go ahead and review it. I'll get some more information on it. Keep an eye out for updates because there's a lot going on. I'll make sure that you guys, I'll cite all the sources, put it on the screen, read right from it, so that way you guys can know exactly what is taking place and you can see the latest. And so I see a lot of people saying they're going to watch it right after this. Yes, I'm going to do so too, and then we will come back and we will talk about it. So don't forget, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe, turn on the notification bell to all, so that way when I go live, we can go ahead and cover it all. All these articles, everything I referenced is going to be linked down in the description below, and I'll try to make sure that I clarify for you guys, because a lot of people asking me to cover the fog as well. I will clarify, okay, if there's not sources, this is the speculations, because right now this is what the police in Las Vegas are saying too, that there's speculations about what's going on, but we're only going to report what has been confirmed. So I'll do some deep dives into these. I'll let you guys know. And also, once again, thank you to Mike Coate here in Houston, Texas, for sending me this bust of Donald Trump. And it is pinned in the comments if anybody's interested in getting this piggy bank bust of Donald Trump. He's also going to be doing one with the fist up in the air after that assassination attempt. And here is where you can get them. It looks like this on his Etsy site. And he also is going to be adding some more to that. And he didn't ask me to do this, but he just sent it. Just said he wanted to share with me this particular bust from Trump. And I just really appreciate it. I thought this was like super cool. He 3D printed this. So if you're interested, check it out. Thank you again to Mike. And thank you for everybody for joining me today. I will keep you up to speed on everything so you know exactly what is going on. And I will catch you in the next one. But that is the latest, you guys. Hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.